Hello and welcome aboard to the AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaiji. President John Mahama says in consultation with key stakeholders, government will soon strictly enforce weight limitations for heavy-duty trucks, expressing worry about how overloaded trucks destroy roads within a short period. Speaking at a sword-cutting ceremony for the dualization of the Takoradi Cape Coast Road under the Big Push initiative, the president stressed that strict enforcement of the weight limits is crucial in preserving Ghana's road network. He also says that the dualization project will reduce travel time between Cape Coast and Takoradi by up to 50%. He noted that although the project timeline is set for 24 months, contractors have assured government it will be completed earlier.
The dualization of the Cape Coast Takoradi Road covers 73.6 kilometers from Cape Coast to Takoradi and is divided into 3 contiguous lots for efficient implementation. What we've done is, in the past, normally that whole road would have been awarded to one contractor, and it would take him a long time to continue until he finishes. Today, that 73.6 kilometers, we have divided into 3 lots and given to 3 different contractors so that the work can progress rapidly. So the first contractor in Lot 4 will be delivering 3 interchanges. Apart from the dual road, there will be 3 interchanges. There will be 4 bridges, and there will be 2 pedestrian facilities. The second contractor would have 2 interchanges, 3 big bridges, and 4 pedestrian crossings. And the third, for Lot 6, will provide 4 interchanges, 3 major bridges, 7-foot bridges, and about 20 kilometers of service roads with a rest stop and an axle-way station. And so this contractor will provide service lanes because of the communities on the side, because they're getting into the urban area, and then they'll have a service a rest stop and an axle-way station. The road will feature 2-lane dual carriageways, designs for speeds between 80 and 100 kilometers per hour, with paved shoulders, improved drainage, LED lighting, and polymer-modified asphalt surfaces for durability and safety. Each of these lots, the 3 lots, is expected to be completed within 24 months. But my understanding from the contractors is they can finish faster than 24 months.
And from the road sector, let me take you to Parliament, because majority and minority leaders have drawn swords on government's fight against illegal mining as Parliament resumes after 3 months of recess. Delivering his opening remarks in the House, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyu-Markin accused the government of failing to live up to its promises to deal with illegal mining, leaving Galamsey to destroy water bodies and also the environment. Parliamentary correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
Nearly 3 months of this House on recess. Members of Parliament are back to do the public's business. But before then, 2 new of their colleagues joined them. Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, a member for Akutia. All of them took their oath after their predecessors tragically lost their lives.
I Seydou Mahama Avidia Kumpedu, do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana,
as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana.
It came the time for both leaders to make some opening remarks in terms of the return of the House. We heard from Alexander Afenyu-Markin, who first drew sword on the economy, and then Galamsey.
On the issue of illegal mining, we, the minority, are of the view that this represents one of Ghana's gravest governance challenges that has persisted across successive governments and which has escalated into a full-blown national crisis is the menace of illegal mining, popularly known as galamsey. The devastation caused by galamsey to our environment. Ghanaians remain concerned about the economy, while recent indicators show modest macroeconomic gains. These are yet to bring real relief to the ordinary citizen. The truth is, stabilization means little if the youth remain unemployed and families still struggle with the cost of living. The mass dismissals across key state institutions represent a direct assault on the integrity of public service.
We got a response from the majority leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm proud to say that so far, so excellent. The energy sector is doing very well, and electricity has remained on and powering growth. So far, so excellent. The economy is rebounding, and Ghana once again is gaining economic respectability globally. So far, so excellent. The Ghana city is gaining strength and stabilizing. So far, so excellent. Inflation has come down to single digit, and prices are coming down, and life is becoming affordable to the ordinary Ghanaian. So far, so excellent. Let me at this juncture mention that whilst we were away on recess, the issue of illegal mining, referred to as galamsey, became very topical. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama spoke to the nation in a media interaction and outlined progress made so far for the multiple approaches of government to deal with this matter.
Meanwhile, about 10 MPs are working on reintroducing the new anti-LGBTQ bill back in Parliament. Reverend Ntim Fordjour is leading those efforts. He says the bill must be passed.
We will pass this. We would submit it to the President, present it to him for his assent, and he can also, even in the course of the process, whether before it is passed or after it is passed, if he so thinks that he even needs to introduce some more robust legislation to serve the larger purpose of preserving the values of Ghana, preserving the values of society.
Also high on the agenda of Parliament this meeting is the vetting and consideration of Paul Bafoboni to be the next Chief Justice. The Speaker of Parliament read the nomination from the President to the House and made a referral to the Appointments Committee. Both leaders are now making it known that they are going to be spirited fight on this nomination and other key business before Parliament, with the House now expected to go on break at the end of December for Christmas. And this is a big budget meeting with the budget expected to dominate proceedings in the House. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, moving on, following Tuesday's devastating fire at the Kantamanto market, which ravaged sections of the market and also left traders in despair, the Mayor of Accra, Michael Papo Aluti, has vowed to take drastic action against individuals who built on fire hydrants, obstructing firefighters' efforts to contain the blaze. The Mayor said the development is unacceptable and also warned that those responsible will face the full rigors of the law.
Anger and frustration as a don't fire ravaged part of the Kantamanto market, the second in 2025, leaving affected traders in despair.
We struggle to get is to trade, and when we finally do, fire rages down all our ways. Right, we are pleading with the mayor to take action and help resolve these issues.
Whenever we buy new goods, the fire keeps burning again and again. We are pleading with the mayor to do something about it. The fire outbreaks at Kantamanto are becoming too frequent.
All my items near the wall have melted. To prevent any further damages, we have carefully moved the remaining items to a safer storage area.
The blaze, which started around 1 a.m., destroyed 2 shops and piles of second-hand clothing worth thousands of cedis. Acting Chief Fire Officer Daniela Mausi in Tosapon lamented that the obstruction of water hydrants continues to delay response times and worsen the impact of market fires across the city.
But unfortunately, we had to travel from here to Adabraka. But you realize two shops away from where the fire occurred was a hydrant, and then they had built a container on it. That's one in front of us. You know that they are even demolishing one. That is where a hydrant is supposed to be, and they built on it, and the person is selling the water.
You must be worried about this.
It's very, very worrying, and I'm happy the mayor himself is here, and he has taken drastic action. You realize they've demolished it, and I think we'd have to take the person on.
The mayor of Accra, Michael Wapo Alote, who visited the scene, condemned the development and assured that those responsible for building on water hydrants will be arrested and prosecuted to serve as a deterrent.
You can see I'm just demolishing them. I assume in office, I never knew there was a fire, there was a water hydrant here. I just find out today, and I'm demolishing whatever, and I'm going to make sure I charge the person to court and prosecute the person. You can't do this. That's why I was blaming this man here. He says he's a chairman. You saw this happening, you can report to the AMA. AMA cannot see everything. Report to us, tell us what is, this is a problem that is happening here. We will attend to you. But you know what, till something happened and he said, oh, I saw the man doing the thing. You see, this is wrong. I will be happy if you check from the court, if you come to our sanitation court and find out our register.
But you should have picked them up by now.
I don't know them.
So how would you find them?
There's a gentleman here who says he knows the people. So he's going to get me to them.
While the authorities are blaming the traders for obstructing efforts to fight the fire, some of the affected traders are still counting their losses and calling for government intervention. For Joy News, Fatao Bayaga, Kantamanto Market.
Now away from Kantamanto, the revival of the Bogosu Prestea mine is gathering pace as Head Goldfields Limited injects millions of dollars into the extensive redevelopment works. The company says it is in for the long haul, not only to restore mine operations, but also to boost livelihoods and stimulate economic growth across the Prestea Huni Valley municipality and beyond. Traditional leaders and political leaders have welcomed the initiative, describing it as a renewed lifeline for the local economy and also a symbol of hope for sustainable development.
Community Mining Consultative Meeting in Prestea, Managing Director of Heath Goldfields, Patrick Appiah-Mensah, shared an ambitious 5-year, $205 million redevelopment blueprint for the Bogosu Prestea mine. The plan seeks to revamp the underground mine, build a sulfide processing plant, and eventually produce 285,000 ounces of gold each year when operations reach full capacity.
So this lease was acquired in November 2024, and it is for a period of 15 years to develop the mine and bring it into a profitable business that can benefit the local community and the people of Ghana. Yes, we've been here for a little over 6 months. We have not produced a single ounce of gold. The infrastructure development and rehabilitation work that has gone on, the investment that has gone on ahead of any gold production tells you our level of commitment and our seriousness to open this business. So we are not here to live tomorrow. We are here to stay.
For now, the company's main focus is dewatering the abandoned mine shafts that had been flooded after years of inactivity. About 10 million liters of water are being pumped out daily, and the team has already achieved a 75-foot reduction in water levels.
We are currently here at the main plant site of the Prestea mine, which has been taken over by Heath Goldfields. So what you can see over here, just behind me, tells that operation has begun here. Even though there are still some work to be done, it reinforces that Heath Goldfields is here to work and then revive the mine back to its state. For traditional leaders, they believe that this is doable.
I believe that so far so good. Within the short period that they have announced their presence, they are really working hard in reviving the place. And there is hope for us. Looking at what they have done, I trust that if all should go well within the mining sector, if the inspectorate comes in and they believe that whatever they ask them to do is what they are doing, there is a future for us, unlike the other days or the other years that has gone past us. So I believe that, yes, with heat, things will be possible for us as a community.
The Municipal Chief Executive for Prestia Honey Valley, Matthew Ayer, and the Member of Parliament for Wasa Amenfi East, Nicola Mankwa, have both thrown their weight behind the project, pledging to support Heath Goldfields in ensuring the mine's sustainability and benefits for residents.
I'm impressed about what I've seen today. It was not good. It was a lot of complaints. That's why I said today is a triumphant entry to Heath. Those times, the minister will call you, Nananomo will call you that come to the site. There was a lot of things happening. They are taking away our concentrate by heat. You will come and you will not meet anybody as a managerial staff.
And we are going to help them, support them legally. Being a member of parliament, we're going to do whatever we need to do to support their operations for their coming here to be a successful and positive one to benefit all of us.
For the people of Prestia, the signs of recovery have sparked fresh hope that the community's economic lifeline may finally be restored.
From mining, let me take you now to health. Stakeholders in Ghana's healthcare sector are warning that Ghana's healthcare system could be at risk if government fails to cushion the rising cost of importing medical equipment. So, speaking during a working visit by the Korea Foundation for International Healthcare, Chief Executive Officer for the Beautiful Creations Company Limited said a subsidy is urgently needed to ease the burden on hospitals and clinics and also ensure access to life-saving technology. There's more captured in the following report.
Management of Beautiful Creations Company Limited is urging government to subsidize the high cost of importing medical equipment. The company believes this would ease the financial burden on healthcare providers and improve access to quality care. Director of the company tells Joe News that without government support, hospitals and clinics will continue to struggle to afford life-saving technology.
We all have a common goal, healthcare, not only for Ghana, but for everyone. So if we have, taken a leap in the healthcare, there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong training them or sending our people to them with a fee, probably, so that it can also help to grow our economy.
The comments come in the heels of a visit by participants of the Korea Foundation for International Healthcare. The engagement exposed Ghanaian biomedical engineers to cutting-edge medical technology and ways of improving healthcare delivery. Chief Executive Officer Samuel Dinchi Anson says the company is committed to expanding access to advanced medical technology and building stronger sector partnerships.
Healthcare equipment are very expensive, and the facilities sometimes don't have the money to buy the equipment. That's why the government has, for some time now, been giving free equipment to the facilities.
Industry players say cushioning the cost of importing medical equipment could make a critical difference in saving lives. The call is for swift government action to ease the pressure on Ghana's health sector.
Also, pupils of Damanguri DA Primary School can now heave a sigh of relief following the construction and commissioning of a new 3-unit classroom block. The original 3-unit classroom built by community members as a makeshift structure had collapsed, forcing classes to be crowded together in limited space. Join News Impact Maker 2025 Awadi Portia Dumba, in partnership with Podducare Touch Life and Sisters Keepers, spearheaded the reconstruction of the classroom block to enhance teaching and learning at the school. Join News' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
Portia Dumba was posted to the Damanguru DA Primary School immediately after a national service at Lasietolu Senior School in 2022. The visit of the 2025 Journalist Impact Maker awardee, who then was 24 years of age, to the Outlanders farming community was replete with sadness, frustration and fear. At first, she thought it was a form of punishment and ways that the posting is reversed to probably to a community that she can have a more comfortable social life.
When I was
was first posted here, I came alone. There was no teacher to receive me, no quarters to live in, no electricity or network connectivity to stay connected to the digital world. Yet I stayed because I believed that this was my moment to leave an impact. Having once benefited from comfort through my senior high school, I felt it was time to also give back what I once received when I was in need.
Portia Dumba, however, stayed put and shouldered on based on her personal conviction. It is now beginning to bear fruits.
I walk from house to house, talking to parents, convincing them to allow their children, especially their girls, to come to school. Many believed their daughters' only value was in marriage, but today that mindset is changing. With support, I can proudly say we are seeing results. Our journey has not been easy. As teachers, we work long hours with limited resources. We have no quarters, no electricity, and often no digital connection to the outside world. Yet every day we show up because we believe in the potential of every child who walks into the compound barefoot but live with her dream. With support from No Limit Charity Foundation, many of our learners received uniforms for the very first time, along with shoes, books, learning materials. Through their leader-sidedness efforts, we partner with 350 Ghana, and I'm proud to say that every household in Domangri now has a solar lamp.
The biggest of all, which is dear to the heart of the Domangri Primary School head teacher and residents of the enclave, is the construction of a 3-new classroom block and furnished with 60 dual decks.
A dream turned into reality. For the first time, our people will experience what it means to learn alongside only their classmates, not mixing with those older or younger. The project also came with 60 dual decks, meaning no child will ever have to lie on the floor to write.
Well, it's now time for me to hand over to Samuel Kujibris to bring you some business news.
The government's overall budget deficit on a cash basis for the 7 months of 2025 stood at 19.7 billion Ghana cedis, representing 1.4% of gross domestic product. Now, this was less than the targeted deficit of 37.8 billion Ghana cedis. The following report has more.
According to the Bank of Ghana, the overall deficit was financed from both domestic and external sources. The government borrowed on a net basis 14.8 billion cedis from domestic sources and relied on a net foreign financing of 4.9 billion cedis. The corresponding primary balance for the period showed a surplus of 0.7% of GDP against a target deficit of 1.0% of GDP. Additionally, the primary balance on a commitment basis showed a surplus of 1.0% of GDP against a target surplus of 0.5% of GDP. The net effect of the government's fiscal operations resulted in fiscal deficit outturns, both on commitment and cash basis, lower than the target for the period, consistent with the government's budgetary consolidation objectives in the 2025 budget, as well as underlying fiscal anchor.
Let's now bring you the happenings on the commodities market. That's all in our updates for you on business. Back to you, Paul.
Thank you, Samuel Kujibris. And that's it for the AM News. If you want more news, we've got you covered, right? Please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denisia Pomaije. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
Hello there. Thank you for staying with us. This is the AM show, and it is sponsored by Kinoga Company Limited and Syntex Tang. Now, Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? Well, it's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank Sintex tank is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle all our Ghanaian weather. Now, rain or shine, Sintex tank has your back. So, my people, go outside, check your tank. And if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's really time to upgrade, you know. Join the Sintex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Go on and call them 0244-335-168 to buy now or to find one of their 400 agents nationwide. Yes, making life quite simple for you. You can as well shop online at syntexgh.com. Sintex tank, a strong, a tough. Now time to review the news. And this morning we're joined by Dr. Ekokweno, MP Ekumfi, as well Dr. Akweku Edu-Boahen, Associate President, Ghana Watch Initiative, and of course via Zoom, Dr. Kwame Asasante, political scientist and head, Center for European Studies, University of Ghana. So now that we're all set, the Ahanta Pele is by the smart wall, at least to take us through all of the headlines. And he's got this intriguing image. He's starting off with the headlines. First of all, Kujo, what do you have?
Thank you for calling me the Ahanta Pele. I love that name. So
you enjoy Daddy.
You know, I say call me, yeah, enjoy Daddy. Okay, but today I want us to start with this image. It's an image which was given to us by Professor Douglas Boating. And he wants us to reflect on this and to ask ourselves a simple question. Are we leaving Ghana in ruins of greed or roots of revival? He's asking the basic question, what are we leaving our children? MFA, whenever I see this, I think about the kids we have now and what we are leaving them. So for you out there, especially those of you involved in illegal mining, you need to reflect on this image and ask yourself this question. What are you leaving the children? Those you've given birth to and the ones who are yet to come, what are you leaving them? I'm interested in the greed, rules of greed. So you need to question yourself, what are you actually doing? It says the same hands that destroyed can rebuild. So for you destroying the environment, think about rebuilding it as well. So thanks to you, Professor Douglas Boating, and I hope that this will strike an image in your mind. Let's move on to what the papers are reporting this morning. Of course, let's start with the Ghanaian Times. And the one story that is of interest to me, of course, and if you know how regular I am to go home. President's working visit to Western Region, tardy Cape Coast Road dualization takes off. Efian Kwanta, Western Regional Hospital project resurrected. And you know what? The Western Regional Hospital is in my municipality, Ahanta West. Yes. So it's good that it's revived. I can even sell pure water there when it's done. So it's good to help the economy. Efian Kwanta, government started the construction of a very huge hospital there. The president says it will be done. Amandi is working on it. And they are the ones working on the regional hospital as well. He says those ones will be done. The road will be done so that it will take me 45 minutes to move from Takrady to Cape Coast. It cuts a lot of wastage, you know. So it's a good one. Take a full read on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. FIC cautions faith-based groups over money laundering and integrate 24-hour economic policy into NDPC framework. Dr. Sarkodie is urging government. And Speaker Suez Inu Akwetia, MP, lawyer Beidou there.
Yes.
Lawyer Beidou. And then Tamale Central MP, Professor Aludu Seidu. So those are the stories. And then Chief, 3 others killed in gun attack. That story is also on there. At the back page, standards key to economic transformation. Trade Minister is saying the Cabinet approves Ghana's first marine protected area. And MFA, you know where this is? Ahanta West is in the news. This is also in Cape 3 Point. Such an exciting time to be an Ahanta man. Okay, let's look at the other papers as well. From the Ghanaian Times, let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. Well, we know of this story. Deputy AG and OSP clash over for Yatta probe. The OSP has said that, well, they are not actually in any clash with the AG. The AG has also sort of tried to say that there's no clash there. We're just looking for a document to help us expedite the extradition of the former finance minister. Now, yesterday, there was also a meeting between the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and the 5 flag bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party. the intent, we understand, is to broker peace between the various camps. It says, Nana, meet MPP flag bearers. Get the details on page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. Wife stabs husband over food. Wow, that's an intriguing story there. I mean, why will you stab your husband over food? Get the details on page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper.
I'm right at page 6, and guess what? She's 21 years.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, the victim's wife, aged 21 and identified as Mayfwa, is reported to have attacked her husband, Kofi, during an argument over the choice of food she prepared for supper.
Oh. Over the choice of food. Anyway. That's interesting.
Maybe I should just go a little further. Providing details of the circumstance which led to the attack, in a police statement said the misunderstanding began when her husband gave her money to prepare banku and okra stew as the evening meal. She claimed that the money allocated for the said dish was insufficient and therefore decided to prepare banku and light soup. According to Mayfwa, her husband, upon arrival from work, was not happy with the change in the meal and confronted her on why this request for supper had changed. His request for supper had changed. Mayfwa said she defended her action, stating that the money he provided was insufficient to prepare okra stew, adding that she had saved a portion of the money for future use. She claimed that during the altercation, her husband allegedly picked up a knife, which she managed to snatch from him, and allegedly used it to stab him. The brother of the victim, Francis, who was in the next room, rushed to the scene. Upon hearing the commotion, he found his brother injured and conveyed him to the hospital for medical attention. Mayfwa is currently in police custody, assisting with investigation.
Nice. Interesting. Over food choice.
Table of men.
Well, we'll discuss it when we sit
yes.
around the table. But let's do the custodian newspaper now. It says CPS lost government 24-hour economy program, but points out implementation gaps. Dr. Edu Osusakode again there. Also, Akufo-Addo hosts NPP 2028 aspirant urges unity and issues-based campaign. It comes to the photograph of the former president and all the 5 aspirants sitting there with the former president. Baumia leads with 72% in MPP race. Latest poll. Get the details on page 3 of the custodian. And that's it for what the papers are reporting. But of course, let's bring you what's happening on the CIMG News Portal of the year 2024, myjoyonline.com. When you go onto that particular platform or portal, you have a lot of stories there as well. So do go onto myjoyonline.com and get to see all the stories that we're telling on that particular portal. MFA.
Right, we shall get ready to get into the details now, but whilst Kojo will take his seat, maybe, Dr. Sasanti, do I have you? Good morning. How are you? How's your week? Okay, we don't have Dr. Sasanti yet, but then we should just stay in the studio. And good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're all well. I like that smock that you're wearing.
Thank you.
Okay, which one of the stories has your attention, or maybe what is not in the news has your attention that you want to maybe draw our attention to first? Maybe I would go to... all of you are dog. So could we make a choice? Could you make a choice? Who should go first?
Well, okay, let's start with the one in the beautiful Fugu you spoke about.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then greetings to your viewers out there and to my constituents back in Amasaman. A very good morning to everybody. I think 2 stories actually catches my attention. And then the first one has to do with the Takrady
dualization.
Dualization project. I think, yes, it's a very good initiative. I haven't been a student of the University of Cape Coast and then been on that road for a couple of years, traveling in and out of Takrady because of a couple of siblings I have out there. I think it's a wonderful project. It's something that should have been done long ago. In my estimation, we should have had this done so many years back, but never say never, or it's never too late for us to want to start this beautiful project. On the other hand, I also think I it would have been better if we invest much in the railway industry, because I believe it would have helped us a lot. Looking at the plans of trying to get these landlocked countries that move their goods and services out of Ghana. The Takoradi Harbour is one of the ports that they clear some of these goods from. And so it's always good. It will have a railway industry that will be booming, will be moving some of these goods from the port towards Ashanti region, or probably the Benue and all those other places. So it is something that I think government should also look at and then invest in that regard.
Okay. Wow. Thank you, Doc. What about you? What's in the news has your attention? Maybe not in the news, but generally you like to talk about.
Well, thank you very much. And
but is the coffee juice going on well? Is everything okay?
Coffee juice is doing well.
Okay.
It can do better, definitely.
Okay.
So we are trying to see how best we can support the business over there.
Okay.
But a very good morning to your listeners and also to the good people of Ekumfi. This morning, I think based on what you've discussed so far, what catches my attention is the 21-year-old for starters. It's quite interesting because in today's Ghana, I thought inflation was so low that food matters should not be causing such harm in homes. At least, well, I just pray that she has a lot of patience going forward. I don't think marriage should generally yield such results, as it were. So we just ask for patience in marriage, and of course, understand that it's a union that is supposed to bless both of you, not to cause distraction, as it were. But I want to share also in the joy of the hunter man, if I should use that.
Yes.
Fortunately, my constituency also is a beneficiary of the first phase. That's the Accra Fantiman.
Yes.
So my constituency just is on the road. So definitely we get to benefit from the first phase, as it were. And I think that roads are very, very important for the economy. And if it's going to take me 30 minutes to get to my constituency, I can even live there and come to work in Accra. So I can only wish the president well in his desire to transform Ghana. And of course, the big push is for roads. So definitely, I hope and pray, and I believe that he's going to do what it takes to make this country a better place. Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful. So, I mean, if you look at it, it started from the Kaswa to Winneba Junction Road.
Right.
Now they are continuing from Winneba Junction to Cape Coast.
Cape Coast, yes.
But when you get to after Winneba, you can see the construction all the way through. So let's see how that goes. We really lessen the hours we spend. But like you said, maybe. But when I spoke to the railways minister, I asked him about this question, because you see, with an efficient railway, we can live in our places and work in Accra. Because if I'm going to take a train that is going to take me 1 hour to Accra, if I'll stay in Takoradi and not necessarily live in Accra.
Okay.
Honorable will live in Ekumfi.
Definitely.
And come to work here, because look, the train will take him, say, 15-20 minutes to. So he says that they are going to use the PPP route. Maybe that's why they've concentrated their big push on roads, with the intention that they will get the private sector to come in and build the rail, because MFA with the rail and with good road, the roads will last, because the heavy trucks that use our roads and destroy them will not be there. If you've been to the Takoradi, Agunan Takwa Road, it's less than 2 years. The road has started deteriorating because of the big trucks.
Very bad.
Okay.
And we'll spend more money to go and rehabilitate it in, say, the next year or two. When we build roads that must last 20 years, so what do? We need to take the big trucks off the roads.
Take note of that and look to your right. We've got a surprise. Look at that.
Dr. Asante. Doc,
today marks an important day in the lives of people of Ekropong as they celebrate Odira Festival. It's a day we mourn the dead. So everybody will cloud in black. And that is, I am in Accra, And I am, showing that in my home here.
Solidarity.
You know.
Dog, friend to man, wait, day. I can't for one anybody, Papa. You are Fred and Toma very well. Look at that. Well, I mean, you've yet started by telling us what's happening in Ekropo. What else in the news has your attention?
I will, go straight away to what President Akufo-Addo said in Brussels on October 5th by apologizing to Ghanaians, as it were, on the implementation of the domestic debt exchange program. I admire the president's courage to grab the bull by the horn and looking at the policy and its implications, the effect on the Ghanaian, he could muster the courage and come out to say that, I am sorry. In politics, that is accepted. As to whether people will take their minds off that issue is another thing. But I was very much disappointed when I heard the apology. Even though the apology is something that should make me happy, I was disappointed in a sense that if you are alive to Jimmy Cliff's song, all right, the song is titled, it's too late to say you are sorry after you are breaking my poor heart. I think that's Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah. Well, there's another one by Wendy Shea, dog.
Yeah, but I'm talking about old Jimmy. Yes. Mr. President, you are saying sorry. But you yourself have said that that policy marked one of the darkest moments in your regime. And I agree with you. But with pain. It shattered what? Livelihoods. Mr. President, your policy shattered our lives. And up to date, we have not been able to put them together. The middle class, ordinary people, and all that. You have said, and I want to quote you, that when people die, you will not be able to bring them back to life. And so is every individual. When you have shattered our lives, our livelihoods, look, you can't bring it back, Mr. President. So I am right in saying that it's too late to say you are sorry after you've shattered our lives. In public policy and in politics, when you introduce a policy, you weigh its ups and downs, the effects, before you come with it full hog. What went into that? Yes, I know that there were a lot of problems at the time. But, Mr. President, you did not listen to all manner of dissenting views on the matter. Some of your lieutenants were saying that we either take it or leave it. We saw sick people on the street complaining about it. It fell on deaf ears. We saw pensioners complaining about it. It did not matter. And you went ahead, implemented it. And look at the pain you caused us. Why are you apologizing today? If you knew the policy was a good one, why apology? Why apology? But in politics, there is always reward and punishment. The good news is that Ghanaians look at it and they were quiet. And then December 7th, they showed the NPP, the exits. That has become the barometer within the Ghanaian political space, that when you take a decision and the decision tends to have a boomerang effect, you have your fingers bent. Mr. President, it is unfortunate that the policy brought us where we are today. But it should be a lesson for this government that whatever policy they want to come out with, they must look at it and look at it well. And then, before they implement it. I have always said that let us, handle these things very well, because a day will come, people will use it as a barometer to judge the performance of government. And on that note, you will see that they go to the polls with the decision already formed and then go and decide on the ballot box. I think it is a good day for all of us to learn that we govern to make life better for people. Any other thing that will bring an unmitigated pain, like the way this policy brought to the people, we should avoid it, because political accountability is always felt when we go to the polls and we cast our ballots. Mr. President, you are also an Ekropon person. I wish you Afishapa.
Well, thank you so much, Doc. Kojo, so whilst you were talking about transport and you were focusing on railway,
yes,
it's another good time to actually look at the inland water transport system, focusing on in the Volta region. When I was young, I'd follow my father and my mother, would use the pontoon to cross and go to Afram Plains. And you get to the Kpando Toko, where it would dock for you to now, transport yourself hours. If you look at the number of passengers, the number of cars, everything at all can go onto that pontoon. The only thing people didn't care about was their safety. And I am just reading in the Daily Guide this morning, yesterday when the minority leader was speaking, you'd see that he brought this conversation and said that the government secured 150 million facility from the Korean Exim Bank to finance the installation of modern inland water transport infrastructure and floating pontoons under the Volta Lake Transport Revamp project. The initiative was expected to modernize and secure inland water transport system across the Volta Lake corridor. Now, according to the statement, a comprehensive feasibility study conducted by the local consultancy firm Vision Consult has already outlined the necessary infrastructure and deployment strategy to make the Volta Lake safe and efficient inland waterway. Just some days ago, we lost 15 people. As of yesterday, when we checked, people were still transporting without life jackets.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. So what do we need to do, Honorable? You're in Parliament. Okay, is there any help Parliament can render in this?
I think this issue is of grave national importance. I mean, to be losing lives just like that, we don't know who we are losing to our future as a country. And therefore, I think that as a lawmaker, I would gladly support any initiative with regards to improving safety on the river. I mean, basic stuff like life jackets, it shouldn't be an issue of discussion, something which is so necessary because every day people basically travel on the river. But beyond that, looking into the future, I think that those vessels that are being used are pretty much outdated to the extent that it poses even a lot more threat to many other people. And I think that this government, which I belong to, which I believe is a listening one, should be taking steps to ensure that we procure maybe some vessels to support the transportation of people on the lake and basically help improve the lives of the people. So I think I'll add my voice to the call, basically to get government's attention to ensure that we heed to the cries of the people to support them and to deal with this matter once and for all, because it's been too long. It's been too long.
But in transportation, really, it looks like we sort of talk more than we do, because what MFR read there, it looks like the facility was secured years ago, right?
Yes. Looks like implementation is what's the problem.
We're not getting.
Yeah.
This construction that is happening, who is supervising it to ensure that the right things are done? So what actually must we do to ensure that we are acting much more than we speak or we say?
I think as a country, we've suffered quite a lot from the lack of supervision. Because, like you said, most of the roads that were done get deteriorated in no time. And nobody is held accountable for it. So when it happens that way, people have the impudence, basically, to go for contracts, to do road works, not care about it, to just do anything they want. I mean, the Auditor General's report is one classic example. For many years, we've been talking about it, and there's no action. Fortunately, I see the president taking steps to ensure that people are held more accountable. And I think it cuts across various sectors of the economy, that if you want to deal with issues of public funds, it should be ready to deal with the ramifications of your actions and inactions. So if you go for a loan for a specific purpose, it's imperative that you use the money for what it's intended for. If you don't do that, you create a sequence of issues that may arise in the future, like we are discussing today. A country is supposed to progress steadily. So if you don't do that and we don't take steps to ensure that people get punished for doing the wrong, we will always come back and have this conversation. So I believe that it's about time as a country we take such decisions and put in place structures and laws that ensure that people comply. The reason why we do things. If we don't do that, I'm sorry to say, but we will still be having this conversation 10 years from now.
Because I mentioned that yesterday, when we checked, people were still going, traveling on the river without life jacket. You remember when the incident happened, the regional minister said, without life jacket, you weren't even allowed to operate. So what is happening? The transport minister told us that they have stationed safety men along the boarding port, although he acknowledged that they can't be everywhere because there are so many points, according to him.
Are they stationed? I mean, maybe this is one thing that Dr. Wahin, you may want to take up as an initiative. You may want to look into it. Because in Accra, we talk about seatbelts as a safety measure. You expect that people care about their lives. But of course, you see that the police would want to ensure that you also take care of yourself. And so if the safety men are, stationed at the point, I don't know whether they're stationed also inside the pontoon.
The pontoons.
Because you are safe as on the pontoon, not just pretending to want to wear the life jackets. Because it takes about 2 hours, 3 hours to cross to go to the other side.
Wow.
Yes.
I think some of these things, like Dr. Kwenu rightly put it, if we as a country do not take much interest in some of these things and look at how best we can safeguard the lives of our people and protect those who are on these river banks. There are a lot of islands along that area. And then these people are going to fly through these vessels out there. But then if we don't put people there who would check whether anybody that goes onto that vessel has a life jacket, it should be the first point of things.
Exactly.
Because there's always a station, there's always a point where they would board that vessel. And so definitely there should be people there. If our honorable regional minister would just put it that we are going to put people in charge and make sure that anybody that boards the vessel is in life jacket and all that. And from what you just told us, your investigation showed that people are still boarding the vessels without necessarily putting on life jackets. Then there's a lot to be desired. Because how do people tell us this, and yet the reality looks different?
But mustn't that be a personal decision that I want to be safe when anything happens, and therefore I'll put on the life jacket before I board? For example, when you sit in your car, the first thing you do is to pull on your seatbelt so that in case of anything, you're protected. Why mustn't it be a personal decision by the people who board the pontoons and the canoes on the river bodies to say that we want to put on our life jacket? Because when it happened, the NADMO director told us that people don't even want to put on the life jacket. And that's why we are reporting that. That's why you're checking. People are not putting on the life jacket.
Because the education out there, I think people have not been well educated with respect to the reasons why we need these life jackets. They think it's a normal norm. We've lived around these banks for a couple of years, we were born here, bred here. Some of them even think they are better swimmers.
Exactly.
And so the mindset of the people out there is that we don't even need it. But then it's high time we go out there and educate them.
Yes.
Let me first say it. I think some of us, we take it upon ourselves, try move into such areas, and then look at the effects, and then try to educate and then create awareness with the people out there, and make sure that henceforth they will be doing life jackets.
Hopefully they love their life.
And then will protect themselves.
Let's go to Dr. Sasanti on this matter. And my question really is that, of course, by now you know that you should wear your seatbelt, but we ensure that people are kept alive, people stay alive and even arrive alive. Do you think that we're adding the same urgency to other means of transport in this country?
Obviously, we are trailing behind some of these things because it's just a sense of responsibility to know that, look, you need to put out the necessary apparel if you want to board this machine so as to save your own life. Nobody should tell you. It should be something that you know from the word go. But if that fails, then advocacy kicks in. What has been the advocacy? The education on that. We have not educated them so much for them to know and appreciate the need for such gears that you need to wear. So we'll continue to have that problem until we deal with this. And also, our state is a state that doesn't implement rules and regulations. What the Imporkasan will call weak state capacity. We always come up with rules, beautiful rules, that regulate the conduct of people. Remember, law is nothing but a useful instrument that regulates the conduct of people. All right. So if you bring them out to deal with the problem and you don't enforce them, then I'm afraid that is a problem that you have on our hands. Americans will tell you that their parliament is unique, and you ask yourself, what is the uniqueness of our American parliament? The parliament is that when they make a law, they go out there to inspect whether the laws work. Maybe we'll begin to look at that, whether we'll make our parliament unique, and then they make sure that these rules, if government will not implement, they will find a way and making sure that it works. Otherwise, we'll come here talk, we'll come here mention the issues and, share the pain with those who have lost their families through accident on such, flights. And at the end of the day, if we don't do the needful, I'm afraid we'll come back to say the same old bitter story. But we as a society must grow from this and make sure that we get the basics right.
However, before we move on, let me pick Dr. Asante's thought on. Doc, the president and his government have committed to the big push where oil revenues are being pushed into constructing roads. We've seen how roads are constructed in Ghana when a few years later they deteriorate. What must we do to ensure that we're getting value for money?
Two or three things. One, we need to make sure that the road we construct are nothing but of high quality. We construct roads, and it's as recent as 15 years ago, and they fizzle out in no time. Kwame Nkrumah constructed Temamoto Way, 1958. It's still solid as a rock. What are we talking about here? Because when people construct roads, or government do, people come in, and then people take certain percentage, we know, from it, and then they compromise the quality of the roads.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, we don't get value for money. So we construct roads, and in no time, they get destroyed. And we have so many examples. Nkrumah's road, Temamoto Way, is there for us to see. If we do a good job, it will last. Even colonial roads that we have in some of the hinterlands are still surviving, and modern roads have fizzled out. It's a shame. That is one, if we can fix that. And two, if those who are supposed to supervise will do their work, will not sit in the offices and draw salary without working. They should go out there and see that what was supposed to be part and parcel of the content of the whole exercise is there. In other words, ensure that all the A's and B's and C's are in there, and then we get the basis right there. If they also sit down without going anywhere and still issuing certificate of approval, we will come back to square one. Another thing is that you don't only build roads, but if you want to save the roads from the problems the president is talking about, we are shared with him, then you need to tie road network with rail. That heavy machines will use the rail system, and then the road will also make use of light, cars on them. But apart from that, you can do all these things. If you are not ready to enforce the rules rigidly, I am afraid we will come back to lament and comment on these things. Because those who will be put on the road to ensure safety, to ensure standards. If they go and compromise themselves, I'm afraid we'll get nowhere. So it's a big mixture of factors that go into some of these things. But if we don't pay attention to them and deal with them head on, I'm afraid all the beautiful talk will be nothing but what? Empty talk.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes. Honourable, I'm back to you because yesterday, of course, Parliament's reconvened. There's so much on the newspaper, but I'm curious, among all the bills that we're looking to see in Parliament, which one of them has your particular attention?
Well, I think there was one that really struck me in a way, especially looking at history around it, where there's a bill to basically to reverse the names of institutions.
Okay.
Though it sounded quite interesting, I think that it's something that more or less hinges on a legacy that has existed for many years. And I just hope that this can be put to rest once and for all, because as a country, we have a lot of issues that we have to deal with. And for me, it's one thing that I still remain hopeful that after this exercise, we should allow it to stay to the extent that we can focus on all the issues that we have. As a country, I mean, the president has today put a lot of emphasis on the big push trying to fix our roads. The economy is doing quite well. I mean, clearly, these are things that affect bread and butter. And these are the Ghanaian people we are talking about. One thing about the Ghanaian is he's slow to anger. However, when he takes a decision, just like Doc says, if you take a decision which affects Ghanaians negatively, eventually you pay the price. And we have seen it time and again. So I just want to say that it's good, but a lot more emphasis, I believe, after this exercise, would go to productive sectors of the economy that will yield the desired impact and make Ghanaians live a better life, as it were, so that we can grow this country to a point where a future and our children will enjoy it much better than we have seen. Beyond that, I think that all the other bills that were discussed yesterday basically is supposed to steer this country to a point where we can be self-sufficient as a country. And for me, I think that so far, looking at what has happened in this country, the economy, and all the other important issues that government is really paying attention to, I think that things are looking quite positive. Like the Minister of Finance who says they've turned the corner positively. And I believe that if we continue on that trajectory, this country would do quite well.
Do you look forward to the revocation of the LI? And I'll come to you, especially for you as an initiative. Which one of the bills or what have you been looking forward to that Parliament should be discussing and maybe passing into a law, if you've thought about it? But let me stay with you. Do you look forward to the revocation of the LI particularly? Widely discussed even before Parliament went on recess.
Sorry, which of the LIs?
LI 2462, to not allow president to allow people to mine in forest reserves.
Well, I think it's something that has to happen at some point. I mean, forest reserves are very, very important as far as the country is concerned, and also for climate discussions, as it were. And therefore, anything that seeks to protect the environment has greater ramifications on us and our livelihoods as a people. So I am in favor of any potential revocation, as it were, and also to help us manage our environment better and to also make things work for all of us. So I don't have any qualms about it, and I believe that any action in terms of getting things done right, I fully support it.
But just give me 30 seconds.
Sure.
This LI that is to go to the revocation of some names, or reversal, is to reverse some names, right? Which universities have you gone through it? Which universities are there?
I think Apia Minka.
Okay, Apia Minka is to be reversed.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Okay.
And I think there was also UPSA. That was the original name, but it's been changed to another name. So I think that for me, let's keep our history. I mean, you cannot just change history just like that. And I think that if we are able...
So for example, Simon Gildon, Dombo University of Development Studies will be reversed. Mm-hmm. Is it also in there?
I'm not too certain. I believe so.
Okay.
And I think that, yes, I mean, there are so many ways we can appreciate people. Doesn't necessarily mean that changing the history of an institution that has existed for many years, the implications could be a bit more interesting for me.
Okay.
So I think that let's keep our history. I mean, it's what makes us original, as it were, and therefore sticking to that for me.
Is that the first reading or the second reading?
That was the no. It's just going to be put, so it'll be the first. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
But if you ask me, Doc, do you really think this is one of the most important things we should be doing at this moment? When we have a chunk of people that come out of the universities not finding jobs to do, people not finding... We just spoke about somebody stabbing the husband because of preparing food, putting food on the table, and she thinks that she would do a banquet and a live soup instead of banquet.
That's a wild combination, though. That's very wild.
And because of this, the lady stabs the husband. And you think that that should not be of a concern for us as a people, where people are not finding food. There's no food on the table for them. And yet we are here thinking about reversal of names of institutions, and then we think this is what is important for Parliament to be doing at this moment. For me, I think it's the whole thing. The very moment we started talking about it, I was like, what is all this about? Are we for real? And so tomorrow, when the NDC government is not in power, and then another party comes also, takes over the reins of government, and then you also come and say that, listen, I want to reverse the names back to ask, if you may, where it was. Then what is this back and forth thing? I think a time ago, we had the same thing with Accra Sports Stadium and the Ohinijan name and then all these, the Flagstaff House and then Jubilee House. And to me, I think it's not one of those necessary things at the moment. We should be thinking about the people. We should be thinking at the young generation that are not finding jobs. There is no job out there. Listen, the NDC government is doing so well. I am an MPP person, a sympathizer of NPP, but then I would say NDC is doing well. I wouldn't criticize them at this material moment because they've only been in governance for how many months? 9 months.
9.
And then there's nothing much to criticize them on, except the fact that I thought he was going to talk about the Galamsey issues and then all that is happening, and then the LI
2462, yeah,
that you were talking about,
yeah,
where we should prevent people from entering into some of these forest reserves and then ensuring that our water bodies are back and safer again for our people. That, to me, is a more critical thing that we should be looking at as a people than these trivialities. I think they are trivial.
I think...
when... Look, want to say something.
No, I mean, truth be told, what I said was an appeal.
Oh, okay.
That after this exercise, I'm hopeful that we will not be revisiting such an issue. Because if you listen to me closely, I did say that there are a lot of important things that we need to look at as a country. And clearly, if you listen to my leader, he did indicate quite important things, like you mentioned, issues of Galamsey. Definitely. Because the impact is quite alarming. And, I mean, the president has taken a lot of initiatives to ensure that this particular matter is dealt with once and for all. And for me, what excites me is that, I mean, this is a president that I can say his word is his bond. Because he did say something about dealing with the issues of doomsaw in those days. Today is a thing of the past, and today he has again made a statement that issues around Galamsey he's going to ensure is done with. And it's not going to be an easy fight. He's one person, yes, the back stops with him, but at the end of the day, he needs the support of everyone. Chiefs, stakeholders, CSOs, everyone for that matter. And for me, the steps he has taken so far, where he's met CSOs to give them the assurance that he's going to be transparent, he's asking them to be hold them accountable for that matter. He's also looking into ways by which we can protect these forest reserves even much better. Deploying of, drones, the military, also using improved technologies, as it were, vortex concentration and a whole lot. For me, this is what I'm seeing the president doing, and I get very, very happy because he's one person that I've really followed for a very long time, and every time he says something, he really means it. So I think that it's a call to everybody to support him, to make sure that that desire that he has to ensure that this nemesis we are faced with is dealt with once and for all. And I remain hopeful.
But are you sure we are going to see anything positive come out of this? Listen, the reason I put it in this context is that, have you checked the pricing of gold today? It stands at 129,000 for 24 karat per kilo. $129,000 per kilo.
Mm-hmm.
You think when the pricing of gold is skyrocketing at this pace, we are going to have these people leave the water bodies and leave the mining areas and say, we are stopping Galamsey?
We should get them to leave.
We should get them to leave. That is why we need a political will of the presidency coming in here to say, like, listen, people have been calling on this state of emergency on Galamsey and all that. I know the government today, the NDC government today, having good friends within the Galamsey sector and all that. And then probably, it's no fault of theirs. People might have been there before they came into office. The second coming of John Mahama came into place. So, and then people might have sponsored or paid one money here or there to ensure that some of your MPs come into parliament and all that. So they would also be thinking that, listen, you are here because I helped you get into that office. So you help me do my business. And then now that the pricing of gold is skyrocketing at this rate, I tell you, it's going to be very difficult for people to leave these Galamsey sites. But then if the president does not crack the whip, we are down for. Because, listen,
the NDC believes that they're really indeed cracking the whip. They cite the NIMOs, they cite a number of things. You give me a minute and let me go on Zoom and engage Dr. Sasanti. So, Dr. Sasanti, so in Parliament yesterday, a lot of bills were looking to be seen. They will be discussing and all of that. And, of course, my MP here has his eye on the name change and hoping that, well, if they indeed go through that process or that phase, we should end it there. When there's a new government, they shouldn't also come up with name changing. Well, Dr. Bahin as well believes that no. There are more priorities we should be paying attention to. That's not important. What's your say, Dr. Sasanti?
Right. The name change of institutions, if the government want to do, I don't have a problem with that. Because you see, sometimes there's a comment about that we waste our time. You'll recall President Kufuor's proposal to the effect that Eugene's name should be changed and all that. All these things, we can end it. There are so many ways of honoring people who have served their country with distinction and all that. Monuments can do, you name them after circles and all that. So for me, on the lighter note, I'll put that one behind and then deal with what? The LI 2462. That is the crux of the matter. Because today, whether we like it or not, it is a real threat, Galamsey. I'm sure yesterday you listened to the EU, the head of EU delegation in Ghana, talking to the effect that, hey, we should check this because it's going to have an impact on our exports.
Yeah.
This is must be of concern to everybody.
Yeah.
Because if EU decide not to buy our cocoa, if other trade partners decide not to buy food that we sell to them because they believe that they are heavily, there are heavy metals in them, then obviously we are in a difficulty. So for me, the government must put in its all for us to get to the bottom of this. I have listened with rapt attention ideas from MPP, NDC, and the general public. What is missing is stakeholder engagement. All right, people pick parts of this and talk about it. Let's have a state of emergency. The scientists will tell you reclamation. Let's do this. But it tells you that when we're able to put all these experts together, we should be able to arrive at something that is meaningful, and we'll be able to do justice to this. Because this galamsey business is threatening the ecosystem, our very survival, and all. Today I listened to chilling news from the Aguna land, where hospitals have no water to use in the work that they do there to clean patients and the rest of them. And that must be of great concern to everybody. And I want the government to be able to muster courage, put its foot down, and then fight this menace head on. Because what happened to MPP? If this government refuse to pay attention to galamsey, the story will not be different when we come to 2028. I can assure them, because we are worried. And remember, voters vote based on a number of factors, and one of it is the economy. And if these things are a threat to the economy, then obviously the government is going to have its fingers bent. Two, if this thing continues, all right, places where it's so endemic, all right, galamsey, you are going to have constituency-specific issues that can also kick the government away. But you see, we don't govern just because we want to win power. But governance must make sure, or must bring hope, must bring joy, and at the end of the day, improve our livelihoods. That is all there is to governance. Without it, nobody believes in anything called governance. But governance must make our life better. So we expect this government that these are the factors that kick away MPP, and that there is no argument here, because whether MPP did not do well or not is a non-issue. The last election settled that conversation, that you have what it takes to turn things around. So I expect this government to do nothing but deal with galamsey head on.
Right. Kojo, you know what? A story has my attention in the Daily Guide. I was just going to go to the 7 names. The Daily Gist here. I was just going to go there because of the 7 names that have dropped for the NPP General Secretary position. Because, of course, there's Dr. Wahin over here. There is also Dr. Sasanti over here. But I cannot help but bring your attention to the story that a headmaster of a prevailing academy at Supon Dunkwa in the Shama district of the Western region, of course, because you've been, is it close to your area?
Oh, yes, you pass there. You have to be possible. That's the community you meet. Okay.
I'm not sure if you'd be excited about the story. Says that he was allegedly arrested for impregnating a junior high school graduate and aiding her to abort the pregnancy. He has been hauled to court. Now, what's even interesting is that after he aided the girl to go through the abortion, he now went on to coach a little boy to own the responsibility and also taking him to the Bosompra River deity to swear an oath. Never for him to betray him. So he wanted the young man to take responsibility after it looks like the girl's parents discovered that this is what has happened. That one has my attention. But pretend you didn't hear. Let's go to the 7 news.
Oh, no, I heard it.
You heard, right?
I didn't.
Okay. Well.
Honorable, this one, there are laws already.
Yeah.
So the laws must deal with him.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that he's going through it. But it is just in the last 3 months, the continuous teacher, students.
One too many.
It's been one too many. Teacher, student, teacher, student.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. As an educationist, as somebody from the University of Cape Coast, sometimes I find this very disheartening. because it has never been part of our upbringing as teachers that you should, I don't know what is really going on today, where a lot of these headmasters and teachers think that they would rather enjoy the fruit of their labor with their students, I don't know, or getting paid. I don't know what goes on in there.
She's actually 17.
That is where the problem is. And then it looks like, I think it's a call for us who happen to have been in the education sector to reassess, look at things all over again, and bring our minds back to the classroom, that we are there to impact knowledge, we are there to teach students, and not to take advantage of them.
Let's look at the role of parents.
Okay.
Why? Because the paper reports that she was feeling unwell and reported to the hospital and was asked to take a pregnancy test. She didn't. She sneaked back to the headmaster's the headmaster's house, because of course she knows that she's been engaging in acts with this man. But 17, it's not strange that she'll go to the hospital alone, but it is also quite strange that she'll go to the hospital alone when she's feeling unwell. Because then at the time, the period which she was able to sneak from the hospital to the headmaster's home, a lot could have happened. The mother, the parents could have mitigated this challenge. Honorable, does this come to you as a surprise?
Well, it does. I mean, 17 years, if you had this if I should use the word smart, for the wrong reasons, I think it's quite a problem.
Smart.
But I think that overall it's a complete abuse of authority, as it were. And it's happened too many times. I think it's about time we did a comprehensive review of people who put themselves out there in the educational sector, for that matter. Because if somebody has issues like this, for instance, a pedophile, if I should use that word, if such a person gets into the realms of education, clearly he will exhibit those characteristics at some point. So we should probably find a way where, before somebody gets passed out as someone who is going to be in education, to be teaching and training students who supposedly are a representation of our future, clearly then we should have a way of checking or assessing people on that basis, so that if anybody should pass out or should be deemed ready to form part of our workforce in education, we can at least have some comfort to an extent that we can say, okay, this person is good enough for us. If you don't do that, you will find people with all sorts of behaviors and characters passing out, become teachers, and we'll be reporting such issues even on a more serious, trajectory going into the future. I don't know, but if there is something like that, maybe you can help me with that, where we can assess people based on that level of character. Because I think it's becoming too rampant these days. And it's a problem, if you ask me.
Dr. Sasanti.
Yeah. 3 things are missing here. Socialization. Socialization. Where we inculcate certain values in people from childhood to adulthood. So from home, parents teach children, if you see something or see a move like this, report and all that. So we realize that when we are able to do this, the kids go to school and they are well informed, well aware about some of these dangers, and then they know when to report and at what time. That's 1. 2, rules and regulations from GES must be enforced rigidly. Once we enforce them, we'll be able to deal with some of these problems, at least to a large extent. And of course, we as a society must be vigilant, because eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. When we are able to shine our eyes, so to speak, I mean, if I may use that expression, we'll be able to protect the vulnerable, such as girls, such as people in that bracket, and so that they develop to become the best in terms of what their potentials for the state. I think that is all there is to it.
Okay. Kujo?
This situation, maybe the punitive measures by GS, like Doc is saying, should be hard enough.
Yeah.
And maybe the court, after they found him guilty, may probably deal with him. But there should be a certain condition that would scare people off from doing this, especially the teachers.
Yeah.
How would you be involved with a girl who is like 14 years, because JHS 13, 14, right?
Yeah, 17. The paper reports 17.
They say 17.
But normally they would be 14, 15, yeah.
Maybe the time he started doing that with her.
Probably would
14,
be
15.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
But you know, I choose the other way because people know the consequences of, for instance, raping somebody. But they still do it. People know consequences of stealing. They still do it. That's why I'm saying that there should be a way of assessing people before they give them entry
to the teaching profession.
I think that for me, that may help us to a larger extent, coupled with these rules and regulations in terms of enforcement. I think a combination of these two would give us a much more bigger impact than probably considering it on only one side.
But someone would say the teaching profession itself has a huge number of people. How do we do that assessment, for example?
See, the problem is people find it as a way of survival. You know, if you look at the way of survival, clearly you might not necessarily want to be a teacher, but because of economic ramifications in your own life, you veer into that area. And maybe square pegs in round holes. So somebody who does not necessarily have interest to teach, but because of his own economic issues, finds himself there. And then you begin to realize that his own character, which does not conform to the educational profession, begins to surface. And clearly that's what we are seeing here. I mean, this a headmaster for that matter. I mean, you've gone high, you know. So to be having these kind of issues, we don't know how many he's even done in the past. This is the only lucky one we had in terms of coming to the public domain. So that's why I'm saying that for me, a combination of these two actions may probably yield a much bigger result for all of us.
You see, I think like Dr. Santi put it clearly, at this time we need to be reassessing our teaching folk again, all over again. 2, education and awareness creation. In our homes, a lot of the times, as a Ghanaian, even parents sitting with their kids to talk about some of these sexually explicit things, where they would educate them and tell them, listen, this is this and this is that. And then a lot of the times we hear parents tell their kids, this is called kakai, this is called this. Instead of educating the child, exposing the child to all these basic things, so that tomorrow, if anybody wants to take advantage, undue advantage of the child, he knows that mommy said this, I'm not supposed to be doing this, or daddy said this. I'm not. So it is high time in our homes we start educating our kids in that regard. The very moment you inculcate that into the child and make the child aware that all these things, if you do this, this is what is going to happen. This is the end result. And that don't allow anybody, or a teacher or anybody, come close to this, because this is what is going to happen. You put this into the minds of the child growing up, it becomes part and parcel of the person. So when in school the teacher wants to do any of these things, they know what to do. 2, teachers, those we employ in our educational sector, we have what we call educational psychology that we all go through, and then people would be taught educational psychology and how you read some of these things and then you know some of these things. But then at the end of the day, there will be still recalcitrant ones out there who would come out there and then start misbehaving, if you may. But it's high time that when people are employed in the educational sector, we need to get psychologists who would speak to them, talk to them about some of these things. Sometimes some of these teachers who go out there and misbehave is because of their upbringing, what they saw in their society, and thought that, oh, really, this is the norm of the day. It is something that happens every now and then, and that I can also go out there and do it. A lot of teachers will come and say, hey, me, I'm enjoying my school. And then, funny enough, these are some of the things that happen. They talk about them freely. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. MFA.
Yes.
Professor Douglas Boateng has brought a long one. Let me just read it so we can wrap up. He says, 14 years ago, there was a donation to improve safety. And he's talking about Zoom Lion donating 3,000 life jackets to boat owners. He says government must enforce the safety laws and prosecute. Same issues with motorbikes and helmet. So many kids are taken to school every morning without helmets. And he is worried. He says, again, that railways are the key, the silent backbone of sustainable industrialization and national progress. Yet, short-term thinking remains the greatest enemy of long-term success. The inconvenient truth is that we rarely conduct a true total cost of ownership assessment before embarking on major infrastructure projects. Do we genuinely understand the lifetime cost of maintenance, repairs and renewal, or do we only count the cost of construction and political visibility? Until we confront this uncomfortable reality, we will continue to build today what future generations will be forced to rebuild tomorrow. Incest and pedophilia, sadly, are not new.
Beautiful.
I recall such painful realities even during my school days. Out of fear and shame, many families chose silence, allowing the trauma to live on unspoken. The encouraging change today is that this criminal behavior is increasingly being reported thanks to the growing courage of victims, advocacy groups, and more vigilant societies. Awareness and accountability are slowly replacing silence and denial, a necessary step toward justice, healing, and protection for the vulnerable.
Well, that's a good way to end our review. Dr. Asante, thank you so much for joining us today. But I promise that next week, no matter what, we shall revisit the 7 names that have dropped for the NPP General Secretary position, because we have spent a long time discussing the presidential flag bearership, but we haven't spent time on the General Secretary position. So I'll pin it down, I'll diary it, and then it'll be the first thing we'll talk about next week when you join us, okay?
Great.
Well,
I look forward to it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be very interesting. Even the people who have, brought their names up, it's going to be very interesting.
Yes. But thank you so much.
I know Dr. Asante would also be with us, helping campaign for Kennedy Ohene Japan.
Will he?
I'm sorry, but I don't campaign for anybody. But, I encourage the political actors to work and work well, because I am a believer of democracy. It doesn't matter the pain associated with it.
Right.
The polls are against him, though.
No. All these things that are churning out. If somebody goes to, let's say, Evans was out 2 days ago saying Kennedy Japan is winning the election with a 51% margin, and then the next day somebody comes out and says Bawumia is leading by 71%. And then you look at the sample size, and then the 2 sample size, Evans is talking about 26,502, and then Info Analytics is talking about 1,000 people. Straight away, it tells me.
Global Influence have come up with new latest polls?
Not after the Dr. Evans JS poll. They haven't. Not after that one.
And then that is what is being put out here.
Yeah.
You interview a sample size of 1,000 people, and that gives you 71%. And somebody does 26,000, and then it gives us 51%.
We'll go into But anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Asante. Thank you so much, Dr. Eko Kwenu, MP for Ekumfi. You should come with Juice next time.
Sure.
Dr. Kweku Edwin as well, Associate President, Ghana Watch Initiative. Thank you all so much for joining us for the news review. Please stay. This is the AM show this morning. But would like to remind you about the EcoBank Joineys Habitat Fair. We connect you to reliable service providers in the consultancy industry, real estate, waste management, water solutions, solar installations, sewage experts, nails and locks, roofing experts, tiles, dealers, furniture, interior decor, and more. We also have you covered with our security door experts, automobile solutions, security and smart home items, internet mortgage and financial advisors, and many more. Block your calendar from the 23rd of October to 26th of October and make a date with our stakeholders in the housing industry. The venue, of course, is the Accra International Conference Center. Time, 8 a.m. to to 6 p.m. each day. The EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair is powered by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and brought to you by Drive EVGH. Drive into a sustainable future. Virtual Security Africa, Safety and Home Solution, Superlock Technologies Limited, DPS Pipes, Elegant Homes, and General Constructions Limited, Gold Key Properties, Ayuda, Special Gardens, DBS Industries Limited, Doormaster, Lech Fortune Limited, LandlordAfrica.com, The Builders Market, Right House Energy, Syntex Tank Automation, Ghana Interplus, Yoband Security, Doors, and Clifton Homes, Western Villas as well, MTN, Greenbox Sewage, and of course EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair 2025. Dream it, earn it, and live it. That's more on the show. Please stay.
2 months ago, the Kwenyaku Headworks was shut down. As of September 2025, turbidity levels had soared to 94,800 NTU, nearly 190 times the safe level. The closure left 10 districts in the central region without water. Today, health workers fear a looming outbreak of waterborne diseases.
Sometimes we have to let them, instead of them to have a start dose here, we ask them to take it at home because there is no water.
Maureen Ej Dansoa is the nurse in charge at the Kwesi Chukron compound in Daguna East District. These days, her hardest task is not treating the sick, it is finding water to keep the clinic running.
It's been very difficult. There is a nearby town. That's where we get our source of water. Because it's a borehole, it's free, but you have to pay for the motor. Yeah, so actually they will take at least 20 cedis. So if you have 1 gallon, it means you are paying 1 gallon for 20 Ghana cedis. So it means if the person is going for maybe 2 or 3, more than 3 times, it means you are paying 60 Ghana cedis. And it's been very difficult. Yeah.
With the facility's borehole broken, Maureen must trek to nearby towns with gallons or pay motorcycle riders, draining her own salary to keep the clinic open.
Yes, from my own pockets. Yes, please, from my own pockets. Nobody is paying.
The entire Kwesi Chukron community now depends on the Offa Pond, a dark, stagnant pool of water shared with animals. For hundreds of families, this pond is their only lifeline. Maureen fears that the same water, polluted and smelly, could soon turn their daily struggles into a full-blown health crisis. Already, she says cases are appearing.
Definitely, there is going to be an outbreak of cholera. After maybe the case has been resolved, there is going to be an outbreak of cholera. Yeah. And it has even started. I think last week we have diarrhea cases. Yeah. My back of the water is 8 cedis. They can't afford it. So the water they fetch from the streams and the bowl, that's what they have been taking. Yeah. So it's going to have a huge impact on after the case is being resolved. Yeah.
Cheap compound. Or something in Suho. Obotu Nsumaya, Esanke, Sani Nano, Nsuna say, Etiensu, or Yarfu Crab Dawa. This a koto pure water, and as we say Damano.
Oh, we can say we are pleading. We are pleading. At least if NGO or government, they should come to our aid.
Just a few kilometers away in Nyakrum, in the Agona West municipality, the story is no different. Here, residents now draw their water from the Accra River, dark tea-colored, polluted, and contaminated by human activities.
I hide Kwenyaku na ye depend. But Zizi na galamse for ye. What sense no way tiffy. And just a galamse fight no. Why you want sir Ghana water. And they no say Eba say what the Sikaba mo way in sooner. Ebe fine. I'm say one jay or honti. They be just a Sikamo, I see in Suyenum. And they are buying just all you know say or Kutia galamse no way tiffy.
At the Nyakrom Health Center, Senior Physician Assistant and Head of the facility, Florence Mavis Odom, confronts the human cause of the water crisis. Her facility's borehole still runs, but the community's dependence on the polluted Accra River is now reflected in her case files.
Roughly in a month, we can say that about 10, 15, 20, depends. Yeah, once a while the typhoid, they report.
Florence warns that poor sanitation and unsafe water are making the people sick.
The water issue, because now the river, how it's being handled. You know, people go in, throw dust, rubbish and other things, dump rubbish, other pieces and other things. So I think last week, due to this, the assembly and then the municipal health directorates came around to distribute APTAP to purify the water that they use. It's not easy. We headed far, but it's just close to us and see what we are just facing today. So it still boils down to the government looking at it. If there are ways of getting rid of it totally, because I think people tried and they've lost their lives, but we still have to work at it, else Ghana will be in a great mess.
Health centers are surviving on sachet water, while communities drink from polluted rivers. In Kwesi Chikrom and Nyakrom, the fear of a full-blown health crisis grew more intense each day. Cholera, typhoid, and diarrhea are no longer distant threats. They are knocking at doors. If this is not an emergency, Mr. President, what is it? Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Central Region.
The AM show, thank you so much for staying. So I've been telling you about the Ecobank Joy News Habitat Fair, and this morning again I'm going to give you another reason why you have to be at the Accra International Conference Center. My friends from Urban Security Doors and Right House Energy are here to tell you all of the offerings and why they would be there as well. Delphina, my black beauty. Hello, Delphina. Delphina Wahima is Sales and Marketing Executive at Urban Security Doors. Delphina, how are you doing?
I'm good, Emma. How about you?
Very well, thank you for asking. And Jijo Johnson, Communications Officer, Right House Energy. Efo Johnson. Oh, that's you. How are you doing?
Thank you.
And Senam Stephen. Okay, of course. Efo Stephen, Sales Rep also from Right House. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Okay. So, Jijo, happiness?
Yes, please.
That's right. I'm a happy child. Thank you for bringing more happiness. Okay, let me start with you, Right House Energy. Tell me about Right House Energy.
Okay, so Right House Energy is a company that doesn't only deal in solar, selling solar panels, but then we are looking at sustainability, sustainable living. So we use a hybrid solar system where we offer batteries and inverters. So then you don't have to only rely on the grid, but you can solely use solar as your main source of energy. Yes. So at Right House, we use expertise in our products, so that you can have lights and energy day in and day out at any time that you want. And we also look at low costs.
Okay. So you talked about hybrid, and that's what you've been breaking down for us. Okay. I'll come back to you again for some more clarity. Delphina, of course, Yobent. So your Yobent, should we add a T or we shouldn't add a T?
Please do.
We should add it. So Yobent Security.
Exactly.
Okay. Tell me about Yobent Security.
All right. So as we know, Yobent is the leading brand when it comes to sales and installation of premium Turkish and Italian model doors. We've been in existence for 2 decades. That's over 20 years. Serving our clients with nothing but the best in security. We have types of security doors. We have the 1.5 doors, the single doors, the pivot doors, the bathroom doors, the fully bulletproof cast iron types. And we have all measurements too available, be it the 8 feet or 7 feet height, the width
4 feet, 3.4, 3 feet exactly, all the measurements you can think of. And just in case you want a customized one, we welcome customizations too.
Okay.
Yes. And of course, all on affordable prices.
We'll go there very soon.
Yes.
I'm sure you're giving us some discounts and all of that. We'll talk about that. But Stephen, so Right House Energy, Gija was just telling me about how you combine the hybrid technology. Explain further about that.
Okay, so when we talk about the hybrid technology, it has to do with combining both the grid system and the solar system. That is, it's working hand in hand. There's no blockage. It's more of like a seamless system that you have in your house. So the grid becomes a form of a backup system as the solar system is running the energy for your house. So basically, that's what the hybrid solar system is all about.
Okay. But how long have you been? How long have you been doing business?
We've been in business for 10 years, over 10 years.
Over 10 years. Congratulations. In Ghana, when you cross the 5-year mark, it means that you're a success. So congratulations to Right House. But how has it been so far? I mean, the Ghanaian people understanding this kind of energy system?
Yes. So with the hybrid system, is really because it gives low cost. It's something that is very, we are getting a good approach to it.
Okay.
Yes, so gradually we are getting there, and we are looking at having a lot of people buying into the hybrid system in the years to come. So yes.
Okay, Stephen, when I come to, well, let me just come to you straight away. Why are you part of the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair?
Okay, we are part of this fair because I believe we share a common vision, that is promoting sustainability, modern and affordable housing for all, and as a company committed to renewable energy and smart lifestyle system. We believe this fair is the perfect platform for us to connect with individuals, that is homeowners and designers and institutions that are shaping the future living of us Ghanaians.
Okay. Well, Delphina, I think the last time you told me why you're here, but let's see if the reason hasn't changed. Why are you part of the EcoBank Journeys Habitat Fair?
So, like I always say, I mean, we want to protect each and everybody's life and properties. How best can that be done without Joy, the multimedia, without Joy News?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a platform, one of the biggest platforms that reaches everybody. And so I believe we have a common goal. I mean, we want to reach people, homeowners, anybody at all that needs premium quality doors that do not rust, do not fade, are made of quality materials to sustain or withstand our weather conditions here in Ghana. So yes.
In Kasa, we've got you. People will hear about it. Okay, Jijo, is there any new products that you're introducing, especially for this fair? Is there in your line, in already the product that you have, are you introducing new ones or?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
At the fair, we are giving a 10 to 15% discount to the people that will be coming there.
Okay. Yes. Okay, 10 to 15% discount. Okay. And when they're there to purchase, this 15% is not like Conabra, you get it instead. I see Steve shaking his head. There's no Conabra via here, right? No. Okay. But currently, where are you located? Maybe people want to visit you even before the fair.
We are off the Wager Road. Yes, we are off the Wager Road, Kaswa Wager Road.
Okay. And Yebens, did you tell me about you had some new products and all?
Oh, and as a matter of fact, we got new designs too just last week.
Okay. So people are going to experience the new one when they come to the fair.
So we are unveiling a new design, one of our modern designs at the fair.
Okay, what's in this design? What makes it different?
Okay, so this design has a different type of lock-in system. This one comes with a mono lock-in system type. And then it gives you this look, a wooden type of door look, just so you would feel close to nature. But then it's not wooden.
Okay.
Yes, it's made of galvanized steel with a composite finishing to withstand the weather conditions we have here.
Last time I heard about composites was about veneers, composite veneers. Now they're in teeth as well. Now they're indoors as well. Okay.
You will be there, right?
Of course.
Yeah, you should come have a look at it.
I will, because I'll come and just
and be the first to grab it.
Okay.
So you'll be
I should go and break the door that I have and come for another one.
Yeah.
Okay. But for a lot of people, when they think about energy and, maybe saving on energy using solar, they think it's expensive. Generally, are you affordable, Steve?
Generally, I feel it is cost effective.
Okay.
You gain back the money you invest. I feel it's the best type of investment now, because in the long run, you are going to recoup whatever you've invested in it.
Okay. All right. So you're located where?
Our head office is at Oyarifa, New York first.
Okay.
But we have 10 branches, we are everywhere.
Okay. You also said on the Wager stretch. Okay. Steve, is there anything you wanted to say that I didn't ask you?
No, but you can contact White House on 0244 360040.
Okay, that's it. All right. Jijo, Steve, Delphine, of course.
Contact.
Your contact, please say it.
So you can contact us on 0207 136 743, 0207 136 743, or 023 189 0007. Yes, and now all our social media platforms, yobentsecurity.gs, www.yobent.com. Locate us in all regions. We are there.
Did you say your social media handles as well?
No.
Or they should come? They should come to the office?
Come, yes.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I didn't talk about the promo.
The fair.
The fair?
Yes.
What's the promo? How much percentage are you giving?
So we're giving 20%, 15 to 20% on selected doors when you visit the fair. And not just percentage discount, we'll be giving cash discount too.
Okay.
So visit the fair, let us know that you are there and there's a discount for you. Imagine buying a door and you're going home with free cash.
That's nice. That's how you're my friend. I like you. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen and lady, for joining me today. We'll see you at the fair. At the Accra International Conference Center, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Of course, we're getting ready to have that conversation with Reverend Ntim Fordjour. He is part of the members of parliament who are tabling that controversial LGBT, but would have another conversation before that one. But quickly, I'd like to wish my very good friend Hilda Rosenthal a belated birthday. Happy birthday to you. And I hope that you had a good one yesterday. God bless you and I love you dearly.
Let's now go to look at the issues that are coming out from, since Parliament returned. One of the major issues on there has to do with the LGBTQI plus bill that was passed by Parliament some time ago but has not been assented to by the presidency. What is it? What will happen to that particular law now? It's not being passed into a law, it's still a bill really. We have one of the promoters of that particular bill, who is also the ranking member on the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament, a former Deputy Minister of Education, and the MP for Asen South, Reverend Ntim Fordjour. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Kojo.
In Kamaka Fanti, but I have on the metro episode.
Baby, I was Fabia or Muhi. Zofa or back and so Beckham be Becca. Oh, the sense one, so yes, one, so Becca.
Okay. Let's start from your constituency, really, because you're just returning to the House. What's happening in the Asen South constituency?
Oh, yeah, good morning to you and a good morning to your cherished audience. As a matter of fact, Asen South, by the grace of God, we're doing well. I took opportunity through the recess to visit a number of my communities. I have 246 communities, very vibrant communities, chiefs and people you to interact with. So I took the opportunity to interact with as many communities as possible, to even reacquaint myself with their challenges and to share in what they want done, within the next few months. And so it was very fruitful interaction. Now we are back in Parliament. We also took opportunity to do some committee work and visiting our agencies, supporting them to ensure that their challenges are removed, constraints are removed, and that we enhance the security and safeguard the territorial integrity of this country. So it's exciting to be back in the third session, the third meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament.
Okay, all right. I saw you were inspecting some planes and equipment in the UK, right?
Yes. It was a meeting we held, just to assess the critical and urgent needs of our armed forces and to see what advocacy we can put in and aligning with world-best technology available out there and how we can foster some partnership. But we also did a lot of work for Ghana Prison Service, Ghana Immigration, Fire Service, and all the agencies that we work with. We had very close, oversight and interactions with them over the period.
Let me now bring you to that bill because it's a matter of, seriousness for a lot of people. Now, we know that, but let me ask you, have you ever said that your government lost because your president could not assent to that bill?
Oh, no. Never have I said it anywhere. And any attempt to misinform the public is definitely going to be rebutted and discarded, dispelled immediately because we have information available. Videos are all over, audios are available. And so, I have never said that anyone can blame President Akufo-Addo for our loss. Neither did I say that President Akufo-Addo failed or refused to assent to the bill. The points that I made, and I always constantly make, is that the bill suffered plethora of legal challenges. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, as was passed, even right from the beginning, from the first reading to consultations, stakeholder engagements, to second reading, amendment, whilst amendments were going through, even before the third reading, there were many legal challenges. A lot of dissenting opinions, tested it in the courts, and determinations were made. And we also listened to various feedback, and that shaped the legislation on the final form that we passed it in 2024. Just when we thought that we were done with all the legal challenges, fresh lawsuits also emanated, which injuncted Parliament from transmitting the passed bill to the President. And so when the hands of Parliament was stayed and injuncted from transmitting the bill, and the President could not even have the privilege of receiving the bill to take a decision upon, it would be most unfair for anyone to suggest any blame or to even suggest that President failed or refused to. How can you fail or refuse to sign a bill that is not before you, which bill a court has injuncted Parliament from transmitting to you? And so by the time the Supreme Court finally determined the matter, the election was already done, somewhere in the latter parts of December, and the 8th Parliament had already expired. We were on recess, preparing to reconvene to begin, the 9th Parliament on 7th of January. And so that is what happened. But thankfully, eventually Supreme Court has ruled that there is no portion in the bill, Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, which infringes upon any part of the Constitution or affronts any international treaty on human rights. It is wholesome, it is effective, and is one that is important for Ghana to pursue. So with that hurdle out of the way, and procedurally, if we are the public are so interested, the right thing to do is to recommence the processes. And that is what we have done. We have reintroduced it to the 9th Parliament.
Oh, so it's now going to go through Parliament again?
Absolutely. So yesterday, on the order paper, it found expression on it. It's one of the first bills on it, Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025. And so it is ready for presentation and first reading. Any time between today and tomorrow, I do not even think that it should go beyond today because it is already advertised and it's a matter of urgent public interest, and it's a bill that the Speaker of Parliament, Speaker Bagbin, has been consistent in principle in supporting, and so there's no hesitation at all in presenting it for first reading or laying it today. So my expectation is that today, 2 p.m. when Parliament reconvenes, it should be one of the first bills that should be called for first reading, and consequential referral to Committee on Constitutional Legal will be done by the Speaker, and subsequently the committee will invite the sponsors, myself, Honorable Sam George, Honorable Bedra, Honorable Ellen Tonso, Honorable Tampuli, Honorable Kwasefwa, Honorable Tony Mier, Honorable Abdul Kabiru, Honorable Nuruddin, Honorable Dolesowa, bipartisan. They will invite us. We'll have engagements with them. Then the other processes will be undertaken until we get to second reading, and then finally the third reading is done for its passage.
For people who don't understand parliamentary procedure, help us understand. This is a bill Parliament has passed already. Why is it going through the mail again?
Yeah, so Parliament passed it, but every Parliament is unique and different. And so by our laws and our procedures in Parliament, in legislation, any bill that is not completed by a particular parliament at the time that the parliament is expiring is odious. And so any attempt to reintroduce that will have to go through the processes again. So you can't have the 9th parliament, coming to continue a bill that was being handled by the 8th parliament midstream and could not complete it and saying that, okay, we are coming to take it from here. No. Each parliament is different. And so if you are not able to complete the entire cycle of legislation, you necessarily will have by law to begin it afresh. But the good news is that all the controversies around it have been settled. All the differences of opinions around it were received. I mean, a myriad and plethora of very important stakeholders, a majority of whom supported and a few who dissented. All the views were incorporated into the final bill that was passed, and all the legal or judicial pronouncements that were passed on all the litigations around it all shaped the bill. And so even in the final form that was passed, when it was challenged and Supreme Court held, all these legalities and dissenting and all the controversies have been settled. So it is not expected that it will go through a long period of consultations and amendments as we saw in the previous attempt. This time, it is expected that it will go through the mill very fast because the same stakeholders are going to be assembled, the same people who held same views. There will be nothing new that is anticipated to cripple the process. And so our expectation is that within the shortest possible time, we will all get around the bill, consider it, and then pass it for subsequent and consequential assent by the President.
What would be your reaction if fresh objections are raised?
Fresh objections could come, but there will be none that will be as monumental and controversial as the major ones already settled, because all the major ones are out of the way. And so once the Supreme Court makes pronouncements on a piece of legislation, if it were done at a high court level or even appeals court level, then there's even opportunity to further, test it higher up. But the Supreme Court has settled the matter.
Can be called upon to review its own decision, not so.
And it's not expected that there will be any more controversial matters to be settled around this matter than the ones previously, engaged and settled. So the expectation is that this will go through, very, very fast. All the questions, all the debates around it, there's no new dimension. If we had introduced new dimensions into the bill, then it is expected that new controversies will arise. But we are talking about the same bill in the shape and form as was passed in 2024.
So for you, it's a done deal. But from your experience, how long can it take for this bill to become law?
Within 3 months to 6 months, we should be able to pass this law.
So we are looking at 2026?
Yes, with everybody lending this process the same commitment as was done in the previous parliament, this bill should be passed between 3 months and 6 months. We've had bills more complex than this, which had even come under certificate of urgency. We have stayed in parliament within a couple of days, even up to midnight, and passed more complex bills than this. So I don't see why this should even go beyond 3 months. This, as a matter of fact, should not even go beyond this meeting.
Oh.
Yes, if all stakeholders will lend the same, commitment as was done previously, we should be able to go, because there's no impediment whatsoever. This is not like a fresh bill that is starting from scratch. All the major issues have been dealt with. The same opinion leaders, the same stakeholders, they are the same that are going to handle this. So what I'm urging and appealing is for our traditional leaders, our clergymen and women, our pastors, our reverend ministers, our imams, all the coalition and CSOs who, forcefully mounted spirited defense behind this bill to renew that commitment and to embrace it again for us to pass this. Recall that Afrobarometer survey reports in 2021 indicated that 93% of our population actually find the practices of LGBT highly repugnant to our tradition and values. And at the time that the survey was conducted, we had not heard and seen the two two gentlemen from South Africa who came and held themselves out as gay couple who desecrated openly Independence Square, kissing and promoting gay activities. That event had not happened. Recently, when it occurred, you saw the public uproar. Everybody was up in arms. Everybody was, expressed their anger, their repugnance at that particular action. So what that shows is that there's even a stirred up, commitment to want to see this bill through. President Mahama has also indicated that he even desires, a government-sponsored bill to handle this challenge. That is a concession that, yes, is a major problem, is a societal priority, and for which he even thinks that more comprehensive and robust legislation is necessary. So all this in principle goes to corroborate that at this point in time, one thing that is so important to society, among other very important pursuits, is the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. When we pass it and the president assents to it, anytime President Mahama also introduces his government-sponsored bill, similar to what we have done to augment on the existing legislation, I'll be one of the first people to support that process. We will support him to pass that bill to come and augment on what we have already done.
So you're saying that we can have the private members bill?
Yes.
And the government can also bring
Absolutely.
Or one will replace the other?
Every legislation, very few legislations will be entirely new from existing legislation. If the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill is augmenting on 1960 Criminal and Other Offences Act, because therein that legislation we have the unnatural carnal knowledge, and now we think that the emerging dimensions of LGBT and all the fluid dimensions that is emerging, unnatural carnal knowledge is not sufficient to fully address that matter competently in court. There will be other dimensions that have emerged that do not have legislation to deal with, which will escape, and which are the real problems that is actually leading the decadence in society and leading the onslaught on our tradition. So we are bringing this law to augment the existing one. Anytime that the government thinks that another bill will come and augment on this, it is done. In practice, in 2020, we passed a bill. For its security sensitivity, I will not disclose it fully. Just 2020, the bill was passed. But now, there's a need to even bring a whole new bill to come and augment on what was passed in 2020. So, we would support any attempt after this bill has been passed and the President brings the government-sponsored bill. If, as and when, or if it comes, we will support him. So let us all support this. We've seen various shifts in position, but I want to restrain myself not to sound political or politicize this matter, because a bipartisan bill, we need everybody's support. We need MPP support. We need NDC support. We need every religion support. We need every faith support. We need media, coalition, CSO. So I wouldn't want to get into certain, but the fact is that we've seen changing trajectory or positions. At some point when President Mahama was in opposition, he said he supported us. He said, anytime this bill is passed, if he will be his president, he would not hesitate. He would sign it. He would assent to it. Then when the bill was passed and it suffered legal challenges, and then eventually when we had to reintroduce it in the 9th Parliament, he met the Catholic Bishop Conference and on record saying that there's even no need for the bill and that curriculum could cure it. At some point, he met another section of clergy and then changed the position and said that now private members' bill may not even be necessary in his opinion, and that government-sponsored bill is what must be the way. So now we are in the 10th month, but we haven't seen any government-sponsored bill. But we would not take the wind out of the sail. So we will keep our focus and pursue what we started and did not finish. And when it is done, I believe President Mahama will take a decision on it. And based on that decision, Ghanaians will also have, advise themselves as to whether to applaud or whether to react, and we will take it from there.
But you don't see any hindrance from the position you've espoused by the president earlier that maybe that could get his people on your side to want to restrain from supporting the bill, and therefore the bill comes off.
So far, Honorable Sam George is NDC, and he's a cabinet minister, and I respect him for still sticking to his principle. His principle hasn't changed. Honorable Bedra, is a leading member of NDC, is a senior member of parliament. His principal hasn't changed. Honorable Ntonso, a former regional minister, a leading member of parliament, senior member of parliament, her principal hasn't changed. Honorable Dole Sowa, she's NDC, she's a deputy minister, her principal hasn't changed.
Okay. So
same for our colleagues on our side. And so it is the expectation that the rest of our colleagues within the 276 MPs will not also shift their position. We've had some new members who have joined. I do not think that they would express a contrary opinion. But as we go through the process, if there are or there is any member of parliament or colleague who may have a dissenting view, as Speaker Bagbin popularly and very famously puts it, he always has a way to say that, for avoidance of doubts, if you are still here as a member of parliament and you don't support this bill, please just rise up and state your case. So and he will repeat it. He did it the last time. Nobody got up. Everybody supported. He will do it again this time. I do not think anyone will restrain. But if there's any dissenting view, the person may feel free to so express. But one thing I can tell is that it's going to be a unanimous support, just as was done last year.
You've been a deputy minister of education before. Recently parents had to go through long hours to get their children manually registered with the schools they've in place that, although they had already enrolled online. What do you say to that, and how can that be correct?
Last year?
This year?
Yeah, I think this year I have observed very closely the FSHS handling and the CSSPS handling and admission procedures. A number of complaints around PTA dues and all that. But you see, the interesting thing is that all these criticisms and all these observations are coming from members of the NDC and coming from CSOs who work closely with supporting education ministry since our time, and even also now they are still supporting. So it is very objective. And as those concerns must be looked at. I think it must attract the attention of the Honorable Minister, my good friend, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, that his own members of parliament are pointing and raising allegations of people paying to get, place in schools. Those are worth looking into, because they are not coming from MPP.
He says he's ready to review.
Yes, they are coming from NDC MP. So he needs to look at those concerns and take decisions that will be able to end that. There are also concerns coming from within their circles about PTA dues. When we preferred, our direction, when we came in, we said that PTA dues will be paid by government, because we factored it in as a development levy, which we were paying to the schools, and for which no school was allowed to charge PTA dues. They said that we had collapsed PTA, Parents Teachers Association. They relaunched it. And when I said my opinion, I got a whole lot of backlash. But now it has come back, and the same people are complaining that the reintroduction of a so-called association, which now imposes mandatory bills, is subject to abuse and is plunging parents into hardship. That has to be re-looked at and reviewed. I would suggest to them that they revert to the system we adopted. And during our time, you will seldom hear any parent complaining of mandatory PTA fees or having, if they had any extra to pay, it would be voluntary payment or donation.
But the parents spoke against how parents were taking out of helping run the school.
So that was the accusation they gave. But on hindsight, they are running into problems, and they exonerate our position that we never took any parents out from supporting the school. And we're on record. Anyone whose child went to school between 2018 and 2024 will attest to the fact that nobody prevented any parent from voluntarily donating items or donating cash in support of specific projects or in support of some meeting specific needs in the schools. Nobody prevented. And as a matter of record, there were semester meetings by parents meeting the various school management to discuss issues to do with the awards performance and opportunities in the school performance, challenges and things that they could collaborate to resolve. Every semester there were such meetings that were held. So on what basis will somebody say that we abolished parents' participation in running of schools? The only thing we removed was that no parent must be forced to pay anything, must be forced.
Okay.
But that is what has been reintroduced.
Okay.
So they need to look at that. But it's also interesting that all these criticisms are coming from people from within. And so it should be looked at very objectively. Okay. If it were coming from opposition members, they would say it was politics as usual. But these observations and allegations are specifically coming from the NDC, and it's worth looking into. I believe strongly in the capacity and the competence of Honorable Harun Idrisu and his team to nip this in the bud. Whatever they started that is not working, they should quickly review so that would they improve upon the system they came to meet. There were issues about CSSPS they want to review. I don't think CSSPS in the shape and form as it is needs review. They should revert to the old system and it will save them a lot of challenges and they have some improvement, incrementally they can add to it. So
if they revert to the old system, what do you mean? What have they done differently that they should?
Yeah, so the direction that they've taken now have resulted in the challenges and the spillovers that they themselves and their people are bringing out. So for what it's worth, they need to revert to the system that though CSSPS did not come without challenges, it wasn't as we're hearing now. So it is safe for you to use what has worked, and then after a while, when you have had a very comprehensive grip of the system, and then you want to make some changes, at that point you will be able to have some very, very well informed reviews into it. But at this stage, I think it's early days yet.
Robin, I'm grateful to you.
Thank you very much.
But before we go, any last words to?
Yeah, I want to commend President Akufo-Addo for the leadership he has demonstrated. Yesterday, President Akufo-Addo invited all the 5 presidential aspirants in MPP, had breakfast meeting with them. In fact, it was a very beautiful engagement. Anyone that has contrary view about the unity within MPP, if you were there to witness what went on in President Akufo-Addo's residence, the interaction with all the 5 presidential aspirants, you would revise your notes. And he still continued to urge them and encourage them to conduct their campaign in a way that will keep the unity of the party, because definitely only one will emerge as a winner in a way that can unite the rest and bring along their supporters, because we need a united front. He also made a point that we have to continue to look attractive and to be a very credible, superior alternative to NDC. And that's the only way Ghanaians will give us a chance. And the conduct of these primaries will have a lot to tell what image Ghanaians will have of us. And so I believe all aspirants will heed to this, advice in good faith and keep the unity of our party together with their supporters. Ensure that their messaging and their campaign utterances are measured and ones that will not, plunge us into further difficulty.
I'm grateful to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Reverend Ntim Fordjour is the ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, also the member of Parliament for Assam South, and a former Deputy Minister of Education. But most importantly, he is one of the members who proposed the private member bill on LGBTQI plus issues. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Do stay.
You're watching the AM show. Thank you so much for staying. And still, we want to give you a reason why you should be part of this year's Ecobank Joy News Habitat Fair. It's such a big brand like MTN as well, so you'll be wondering. But let's talk to Kwame Asamoah, Manager Network Groups at MTN, and as well Diana Dadzi, Coordinator Home and Devices. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in our studio. I pretend that I don't know about MTN. So I'm going to ask, tell me about MTN, the brand MTN.
Well, you've seen the colors yellow, and I think that really identifies with MTN. We've been a mobile network that has been part and parcel of the Ghanaian community for more than 2 decades. Our vision is to become an excellent mobile network operator to provide connectivity for all Ghanaians, because we realized that connectivity is a basic necessity, it's a utility that everybody should be able to have it. So whether on mobile or in your home or wherever you are, we're committed to deliver that kind of connectivity. So that's MTN in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, Diana, tell me, a lot of people know about MTN. In fact, of course, you're the market leader. We're just wondering, why did you have to be part of the Joy News Habitat Fair?
Okay, thank you very much. So MTN, we believe that everyone deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. And this fair gives us a perfect avenue to display our connectivity, our speed, and then also gives us an opportunity to speak to customers directly, to get to know them better and to know how to serve them. So it's a perfect program for us to partner with.
I'm happy to hear that. But beyond coming to the fair, let me come to you. What really are some of the special, offerings? Maybe from now till the 23rd of October, you have some special offerings, MTN, maybe before, during, and after the fair. You want to let me in on that?
Yeah, okay, so I'll take that. So for now, we are offering a Kwaba offer, which gives customers 3 months unlimited data at a cool 60 Mbps speed. And with this offer, you can't get it anywhere apart from MTN. Also, we are giving promos and discounts where you can get 345 CDs of unlimited data and then also browse for 30 days. So it's very, very, I don't know if you are not using MTN at the moment, then you are really missing out on our broadband space.
Okay, if you're not using MTN, then you're really missing out. I won't go into the other questions that you want me to ask them. When you come to the fair, you can ask them yourself. But looking forward, what should Ghanaians expect from the brand MTN?
So in terms of the brand and our vision to go into home, we call it fiber to the home, you realize that we are rolling out quite well in the country and trying to ensure that most homes will be able to get internet in the home. We've realized that home is the last frontier. When you're outside or building at work, you use your mobile phone, but as soon as you enter your house or your home, I'm sure you switch onto your Wi-Fi and you try to browse and go onto social media. That experience is what we want Ghana as a whole to have and be able to have superior, fast and quality internet at home as a service.
Okay. And when we visit your stand at the fair, is there another special offering in the special offer that you're giving us already?
When you visit our stand, we have teams that will support you in installing or activating fiber broadband. You can also test our speed that we are promising now. You can get up to 120 Mbps. Okay. And also you'll be supported on how to subscribe to our newly launched unlimited service that keeps you connected a year long. So yes, come to our stand and then experience what we are talking about.
Of course, your offices are just across Accra here and even Ghana all over already, but are there some specific places that you like us to go for some specific services?
Okay, so you can visit, if you want to install fiber broadband, you can visit the app, go on the more option. Then when you click on it, you will see requests for fiber broadband. You can also visit our branches. You can call 100. You can visit our web portal and then our social media platforms.
Okay. Are there any numbers as well we can call?
The 100.
Just the 100.
Yes.
It's still the 100.
Yes.
That was with the 100. Right? Okay. I'll take your final words.
All right. So, MFR, we've realized that the middle income in Ghana is growing. A lot of households are springing up. That's how come we're having fairs like the Habitat Fair. The real estate industry is growing. And this is the time to be able to put in that physical infrastructure to get these houses connected. Families should be connected. Children will have the ability to do their homework and research on the internet faster and better. And that's the whole ideal that MTN is pushing for the general Ghanaian public. And we want everybody to take part in this. The real estate industry, householders, homeowners, to be able to experience this and have it as a part that connectivity is a basic utility that every one of us should have.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you at the fair, 23rd to 26th at the Accra International Conference Center. And of course, you will not miss out the color yellow. And so you see them, they'll be very visible. You can ask all the questions that you want to ask. And thank you for joining us in the studio. But before we wrap and maybe cross you over to NSMQ, a blessed new age to you, Honorable Kwesi Baini. You have been a source of inspiration for many, and we pray that God will continue to bless you. Yesterday was your birthday, belated birthday then, and I join thousands around the world to celebrate you. A belated birthday to you, Chief. Your son, Kojo Brace, they are Hunter Pele. Well, please stay There's more after the show.